your Houston Rockets tried their best against the Golden State Warriors in the playoffs last year. Jalen Green struggled. They were down 3-1 at one point, but they did fight all the way back to force a Game 7. And in Game 7, offense just came really hard for them. It did seem like they had earned the respect of the Golden State Warriors after the series, specifically Draymond Green, who was very complimentary of them. I wonder how these two teams feel about one another right now. Because I know Tari Eason definitely hates the Warriors, just given the back and forths that he's had online with Draymond Green, even though Green respects Eason. But Alperen Şengün, who got some flowers from Draymond Green after last year's series, was on the Socrates Dergi podcast, which is a Turkish basketball podcast, I think. The interview was in Turkish. There are subtitles on YouTube, but these are the kind of subtitles that seem to be auto-generated. One of the really tricky things about interviews in other language is that sometimes context gets lost, colloquialism, language to language gets lost. Sayings that might mean one thing in one language can mean something entirely else in another. So I just keep all of that in mind before I read the quote that has drawn the ire of Draymond Green after getting aggregated by someone. Said Şengün about the Warriors, quote, "They're a very experienced team. They fouled a lot. In the playoffs, they don't call it, but they were the ones crying all series about fouls not being called." Subjective thing to say, especially when you're Alperen Şengün and you complain about calls more than anyone on the Rockets. No one complains more than Şengün does. And it's honestly annoying at times, no matter how much you like Şengün. And I do like Şengün. The Warriors were called for more fouls than the Rockets were in this series. 150 for the Warriors, 124 for the Rockets. I am well actuallying Şengün here. And Draymond Green also slung some mud back at Şengün after that quote was aggregated into English. He reposted this on Threads saying about Şengün's comments, the Warriors were the ones crying all series. That's a tough thing to say after you lose, ... You have to win to stuff like that. I think he meant to say stuff like that. He replied to this post that he made on Threads, which is the Instagram version of Twitter. Quote, "Hold that L," end quote. Draymond's right here. I know no one wants to hear it. Draymond's right. Especially when you take a look at the foul discrepancy and see that the Warriors were called for more fouls than the Rockets. Sure, there was some complaining going on. Steph Curry had an annoyed face from time to time. There were flops going on as well. Both sides. But I never got the impression in Rockets Warriors that the Warriors were whining for calls more than Şengün was. I never got that impression. Yes, Draymond was huffing and puffing and doing what Draymond Green has always done. Was Steph really doing that?
Steve Kerr and Steph were doing a lot of like post-game press conference of like they're just grabbing the hell out of it. Like what are we supposed to do? Like, there's a lot of that.
Okay. I guess because I'm focusing on Şengün and Draymond, I am perhaps missing the plot here into what Sean said. Now that you say it, okay, now it's coming back to me. There was definitely a little bit of that in the post game. During the games, though, is I think where you got to focus on it. And I think if it's happening in the game, like it happens so often with Şengün, and you lose, I don't know that you can call the Warriors out for this. I think, honestly, any other member of the Rockets could perhaps call this out. Also, as part of this back and forth between Alperen Şengün and Draymond Green, Tari Eason's mom has decided to re-enter the fray. She reposted an NBA Central post on X. Draymond Green fires back at Alperen Şengün saying, "Oh dear, now it's war." Okay. Listen, I like how passionate Tari Eason's mom is. I think it's very cool. However, you cannot call this a war. It is not a war. This is a war like Israel-Palestine's a war. This is a war like Russia-Ukraine's a war. Like it's one-sided. It's entirely one-sided. There's no wins for the Rockets against the Warriors. And we're talking over a decade.